In the heart of ancient Egypt, a tale of divine destiny unfolded with the birth of Osiris. It was a land where the gods walked among mortals, where the sun itself played a central role in the destinies of kings. It was in this extraordinary time and place that Osiris, a figure of immense significance, came into the world. His birth was no ordinary event. As he took his first breath, an extraordinary crown adorned his head, a crown known as the Atef. This was no mere adornment. It was a symbol that Ra, the mighty sun god and a supreme deity in the Egyptian pantheon, had chosen Osiris to be the next great king. The crown's presence marked Osiris as the anointed one, the heir to a throne that would have a profound impact on Egypt's history. In the radiant city of Thebes, where the sun's golden rays bathed the temple in an ethereal glow, a humble man named Pamyles experienced a moment of divine intervention. It was a day like no other, and as Pamyles went about his daily tasks, an otherworldly voice whispered in his ear. This ethereal voice, gentle yet commanding, urged him to take on a sacred mission, to spread the news of Osiris. Little did Pamyles know that his response to this divine whisper would set the wheels of destiny in motion, forever altering the course of Egyptian history. He became the herald, the voice of the gods, proclaiming the birth of a ruler chosen by Ra himself. In land where the unimaginable coexisted with the ordinary, a place where even the most barbarous of practices, like cannibalism, held sway over the people, it was in this realm that Osiris ascended to the throne. His reign was not just a time of power, it was an era of wisdom and benevolence. As a wise and benevolent king, Osiris sought to cleanse Egypt of its savage practices. Cannibalism, a dark stain on the land, was brought to an end. But Osiris's impact extended far beyond this gruesome aspect of society. He was a bringer of knowledge and enlightenment, introducing the people to the wonders of agriculture. Wheat, barley, grapes, wine, and copper tools. These were the gifts he bestowed upon Egypt, transforming it into a fertile, thriving kingdom. With his sister, Isis, as his queen, Osiris ruled with an air of harmony and unity. Together, they crafted a vision of perfection for Egypt, ensuring that trees flourished and waters flowed sweetly. The land prospered, and the people revered their god-king with deep respect and affection. Osiris embodied the ideal ruler, guiding the Egyptians with the principle of Ma'at, which represents balance and harmony. Yet, beneath the surface of this golden age, darkness and envy began to stir, threatening the tranquility that Osiris had worked so hard to establish. With Egypt basking in the light of prosperity, Osiris, not content with the boundaries of his kingdom, felt the call to spread the blessings of his reign far and wide. He embarked on a mission of enlightenment, determined to introduce the world to the precious gifts of agriculture. Osiris was not just a benevolent king, he was a visionary, a harbinger of change. His journey extended from the lush lands of Ethiopia to the distant reaches of India, bringing the sacred knowledge of wheat and barley, and the art of agriculture to those who dwelled in darkness. Osiris's mission was not just about Egypt, it was about illuminating the world. But as the light of enlightenment shone, so did the shadow of envy. Set, Osiris's own brother, harbored darkness in his heart. The growing power and glory of Osiris ignited the flames of jealousy within Set. Consumed by envy, Set hatched a sinister plot to extinguish his brother's radiant rule. One fateful night, when Osiris and Isis were asleep, Set stealthily entered their bedroom. Careful not to wake the king and queen, Set took precise measurements of Osiris's body from top to bottom and side to side. Using these measurements, Set enlisted the help of a carpenter to make a beautiful wooden chest, decorated with bright paint and sheets of gold. To ensure that his plan would not fail, Set gathered 72 conspirators, including the Queen of Ethiopia, and began to plot Osiris's demise. Amid the grandeur of a lavish feast where laughter and cheer filled the air, Set unveiled a magnificent wooden chest, a game of challenge, a game of deception. What seemed like an innocent game designed for merriment concealed a treacherous ploy to seal Osiris's tragic fate. The game was deceptively simple. The person that could fit this box perfectly would get to keep it. Many of Set's supporters feigned ignorance and volunteered to lay in the box as to not raise any suspicions. As expected, each person that tried failed to fit the dimensions of the box. Osiris alone possessed the precise form to meet this challenge. After a series of failed attempts by the guests, Set asked Osiris to give it a try. Osiris, not expecting anything devious, laid in the box. To his surprise, he fit the box perfectly, but before he could even speak, the lid of the chest was abruptly slammed shut, sealing Osiris within its wooden embrace. The conspirators of Set watched in silence, aware that their actions had set in motion a tragedy that would echo through the ages. Once a symbol of joyous revelry, the magnificent chest became a tomb for the beloved king Osiris. With its lid securely closed, Osiris was entombed within, the sounds of laughter and celebration still echoing in his ears. Under the moonlight, they carried the chest, now a tomb, to the banks of the Nile. Set and his conspirators cast it into the dark waters, Osiris within, leaving his earthly reign shrouded in tragedy. Those very waters, which had once brought life and prosperity to the land, now became a watery grave for the ruler who had ushered in an age of enlightenment and abundance. With Osiris gone, Set, the god of chaos, seized the throne, ruling as the king of Egypt. Osiris's earthly reign met a tragic and untimely end, but little did anyone know that his story was far from over. Isis had been in the village of Chemis when this act of treachery took place, but she could feel the death of Osiris all the same. Sensing the truth, she was immediately consumed by grief and unwavering determination. The goddess Isis embarked on an arduous quest to find the body of her beloved Osiris. She journeyed through distant lands, across deserts and mountains for months, following the faint traces of his existence. Isis was no ordinary goddess. Her profound love for Osiris fueled her relentless commitment to reunite with him. With each step of her journey, she displayed her boundless devotion and her indomitable will, which would become a symbol of love's enduring power. Isis, the loving wife and unwavering seeker, ventured far and wide, determined to bring her beloved Osiris back from the realms of death and darkness. Eventually, Isis came across a group of children who told her that they had seen a magnificent wooden chest floating down the Nile. Hearing this, she knew this had to be the chest her beloved Osiris was sealed within. As fate would have it, Osiris's chest, now a vessel for his lifeless form, drifted upon the Nile's gentle currents. It reached the distant shores of Byblos, where an awe-inspiring tree loomed, its roots embracing the chest as if claiming it as a sacred relic. The people of Byblos were captivated by this magnificent tree, its grandeur rivaling the gods themselves. In a twist of destiny, King Malkander and Queen Atinais, rulers of Byblos, chose to employ this tree as a pillar within their palace. Unbeknownst to them, the tree that they had removed contained more than just beauty. Osiris's lifeless body lay deep within it, and they had unwittingly welcomed Osiris into their home. Meanwhile, Isis, driven by an unyielding determination to reunite with her beloved Osiris, followed the elusive trail of his chest. She arrived in Byblos, her presence resonating with silent beauty and divine grace. The queen's handmaids, drawn to her enchanting aura, felt a profound connection with Isis. Their chance encounter was no accident. It was a thread woven by destiny. Isis's radiant influence made a lasting impression, and it wasn't long before Queen Atinais heard of her. The queen was nursing a deep sorrow, her child suffering from an incurable illness. In secrecy, Isis unveiled her true identity and offered her services as a nurse. She harbored a divine power, one that could cure the incurable. The unfolding tale took an unexpected turn as Isis decided to reveal her divine nature to Queen Atinais. With her truth laid bare, she made a solemn bargain. In exchange for her services and secrets, she requested one thing above all: Osiris's body. The same body she had tirelessly searched for, the body she had grieved over, and the body she had hoped to bring back from the clutches of death. The queen was puzzled, but agreed. With this agreement, Isis extracted the wooden chest from within the tree that was being used as a pillar. Isis was now closer than ever to resurrecting her beloved Osiris, but the challenges and adventures were far from over. Even in death, Osiris did not find peace. During this time, Set began to worry that Isis might locate Osiris's body and find a way to bring him back to life. Set knew just how powerful and knowledgeable she was in these matters, and he was determined to prevent it. One day, while Isis had stepped away from Egypt to attend to other matters, Set asked Nephthys where Isis had gone. Nephthys was understandably caught off guard by the question and quickly played innocent. But Set was no fool. He could tell when his wife was lying, and his fury surged. After interrogating Nephthys, he was able to get the location of Osiris's body. Set tore the coffin open and dismembered Osiris's body into 14 pieces. He then flung the fragments of Osiris all over the land of Egypt so that Isis would never be able to find them. Having accomplished this, his paranoia had been quelled, and he returned to his palace to rule. When Isis returned and found the coffin destroyed and the body gone, she fell to her knees in despair and wept. Nephthys, feeling guilty for having betrayed her secret, told Isis what had happened and offered to help her find the parts of Osiris. Isis sympathized with Nephthys, for Set was a cruel and devious god. As to not waste any time, the two sisters immediately began searching the land for Osiris's body parts. During their search, Isis transformed herself into a huge bird and flew high up above Egypt. Using her sharp vision, she was quickly able to locate the pieces of her beloved Osiris. One by one, they were able to retrieve different parts of Osiris's body, unscathed for the most part. In a cruel twist of fate, only 13 pieces of Osiris were recovered. The 14th and final piece was Osiris's phallus. Despite Isis and Nephthys's best efforts, they were not fast enough in locating his body parts. In the end, his phallus was unfortunately eaten by an animal and was lost forever. Undeterred, Isis was still determined to find a solution and bring Osiris back to life. Before returning to Egypt, Isis wanted to prevent Set from finding Osiris's body again. She made a wax copy of each body part and buried them separately. She instructed local priests to protect each body part, each being told that their location was the true burial site of Osiris. Isis returned to Egypt with Osiris's body. Around her, the air was filled with an aura of determination and love. Isis, the devoted wife, Nephthys, protector of the dead, Thoth, god of wisdom, and Anubis, god of funerary practices, stood united around the scattered remains of Osiris. Each piece of his dismembered body was a piece of their shattered hope. They knew this would be no ordinary task, but their love for Osiris knew no bounds. Before they could bring Osiris back to life, Isis needed to create a new phallus. She fashioned one out of wax, hoping that this would be enough. Isis, her eyes filled with both tears of sorrow and fiery determination, picked up a piece of her beloved husband. Nephthys, her loyal sister, offered words of encouragement, and Thoth, the deity of great magical powers, consulted the ancient scrolls for guidance. Anubis, the god of embalming, began the sacred rituals of mummification. Piece by piece, they meticulously reassembled Osiris, like a divine puzzle. Their hands moved with purpose, guided by the love they held for the fallen king. Each fragment that they placed back into position brought a flicker of hope to their hearts. It was a race against time, a battle against despair, and a testament to the power of love and unity. Meanwhile, in the shadows of Egypt, Set, the harbinger of chaos, continued to scheme. He knew that as long as Osiris's body existed, there was a chance he could be revived, and Set could not allow that. His fear of Osiris's return consumed him, driving him to relentless pursuit. Set's spies scoured the lands, seeking any sign of Osiris's body. Rumors and whispers of Isis's quest reached his ears, and his fury intensified. He was the embodiment of chaos, the very antithesis of Osiris's harmony. The balance of Egypt depended on his success. To protect the precious remains of Osiris, Isis and her allies had to act in secrecy. The race was on, and the fate of Egypt hung in the balance. Chapter 15: The Magic of Resurrection. Osiris, now whole, lay wrapped in linen, a form unknown to the world. The first mummy. The world was shrouded in darkness, a silence filled with anticipation. Isis, the loving wife who had endured countless trials, stood beside her husband. The full moon cast a silvery glow over the land. It was a night of magic, a night of destiny. Isis, with unwavering faith and tears of joy, began to channel her incredible power. The air crackled with energy, and the world held its breath. Her magic surged like a river in full flood. It flowed from her heart, through her fingertips, and into the still form of Osiris. A divine energy enveloped him, and slowly Osiris's chest began to rise and fall. He opened his eyes, his gaze met Isis's, and in that moment, life was reborn from death. Osiris had returned. However, his rebirth was not permanent. Having spent so much time in the underworld, he could no longer return to the land of the living. Instead, Osiris had become the first ruler of Duat, the underworld. It was a bittersweet victory, for Osiris could never dwell in the world of the living again. However, he left behind a promise of hope, and a legacy of eternal life. The cycle of life, death, and resurrection had begun, and Osiris's spirit would watch over Egypt for all time. As Osiris returned to life, it was a moment of mixed emotions. He had triumphed over death, yet his destiny beckoned him to the underworld. He understood that he was meant to be the ruler of the afterlife, guiding souls through the eternal journey. With a heavy heart, he explained this to Isis. Isis was overcome with emotions. All the time and effort she put in to revive Osiris was supposed to bring her joy and happiness, but instead, Osiris was going to be ripped away from her once more. That night, Osiris and Isis spent time together in loving embrace and conceived a son. In a poignant farewell, Osiris assured Isis that he would watch over her and Egypt from the realm beyond. He promised that death was not the end but the beginning of a new existence. He told her that she would soon give birth to a son who would defeat Set and become a great protector of the Egyptian people. Osiris left behind a legacy of hope, the belief in resurrection, and the certainty that death was not a final farewell, but a passage to another life. With Osiris's transition to the afterlife, Set continued to rule Egypt unchallenged. The land was shrouded in darkness, and the people longed for the return of their beloved Osiris. Set's chaotic rule brought turmoil and despair. However, amidst the darkness, a promise loomed on the horizon. It was a prophecy, whispered among the priests and seers, that a new protector would emerge. This protector would bring balance and order back to Egypt, ensuring that the legacy of Osiris would live on. This protector was the son of Osiris and Isis, and his name was Horus.